La, la, la. Hey, hey. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome back to Daytime. So I teased a little bit of worm action. They're not gummies. No, we're actually talking real worms, and they're here inside because guess what? You can do composting inside your house. I am joined now by Cathy Nesbitt from Cathy's Crawley Compost. That's a bit of a tongue twister.
Only for you.
I had to slow. I was trying to say it 10 times faster. Cathy's Crawley Compost. Cathy's Crawl. No,
Yeah,
it's
don't
not
do
working.
it.
It's not going to work.
Let's focus here,
We'll stop
Alex.
there.
Okay.
You can do composting inside.
Inside.
Because
How
you know
fun is
what?
that?
The green bins. People don't like the green bins.
No,
Why don't they like
well,
this?
it smells. It's gross, and it has to be trucked around, and it's a lot of money. Where you can do this inside your house, you can do composting, just like outdoor composting. The worms require a carbon-nitrogen mix, so the carbon is leaves or shredded paper, and the nitrogen is the food scraps. And then the worms eat both and turn it all into beautiful, rich soil that you can grow more plants in.
How'd you get involved in this? You know, I ask this to everybody. Do you just wake up one day and just say, I'm just going to raise a family of worms?
Well, this was, I really believe, I call myself a worm advocate, and I believe this is why I was put on earth. It was to be the messenger for the worms. The worms are going to play an ever-increasing role in waste management, soil production, and therefore food security.
Is this an untapped potential that we just haven't really been paying attention to for the longest time?
The worms have been around for millions of years, waiting to help us with our garbage crisis. Their time has come.
Okay.
In 2002, the landfill for the Greater Toronto Area closed, and we started shipping garbage to Michigan.
Right.
When the landfill for the largest city...
Crazy expensive.
It's crazy expensive and a waste. Imagine if you're doing this on site.
Okay, so here we are. We have our friends. They're in here?
Yes, they are. So we're using red wigglers, but these are actually European night crawlers. There's thousands of species of worms.
So these aren't Canadian worms?
They're not.
They're not native to Canada?
Actually, all the worms apparently are non-native. After the last ice age, they were all wiped out. I don't know if that's true.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, you learned something. So what makes these guys so good to have inside your house?
So these are surface dwellers. Thank you for being so gentle with my worms.
Oh.
So they eat about half their weight per day in food scraps.
You know what it is? You pick them up initially and they're kind of like, whoa, what's happening? And then you relax and then they start moving and that's when the tickling happens.
They have 5 hearts each.
Do they?
I know.
Is that why you can kind of snip them?
No, stop it.
No,
Let's
you
not
can't?
talk-
Is that a myth?
It is a myth.
Okay,
And don't
you
do
can't
that.
snip them in half.
No, stop talking about that. That's
Sorry.
just wrong. Who would want to do that anyway? Okay, worms have 5 hearts each. All of their hearts are between the sole and band and the head. So if a worm does get cut in half by accident, the bottom half doesn't have a mouth. It doesn't have any hearts. So we'll keep on wriggling because they have nerve endings throughout their whole body.
Right.
Yeah, so stop cutting them in half, Alex, so you have twice as many worms. You don't.
Oh, I'm
One
sorry.
is definitely dead. Yeah, so
That's a
they eat about half their weight per day. So this is about a week's worth of food for a pound of worms. It's all of your fruit and veg, coffee, tea, pasta, rice, beans, grains, plant clippings. What stays out? No meat, no dairy, no sauce.
Okay.
The more you chop it, the faster it breaks down, the more
So
the
you
worms
got
can
tea
eat.
bags in there as well?
Yeah.
And a lot of veggies.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Can you be putting your paper towels? And
Yes,
stuff as long as
absolutely.
they're
Yeah.
damp?
Yeah, so this is the Worm Chalet.
This
that
is
we-
what you're selling. This is what you're
This
showing
is the Worm
people.
Chalet. So this is a tower composter. There's 3 trays. And how this works, so you need some kind of a bedding. We use shredded paper. Could be leaves, straw, cardboard.
It doesn't matter which one?
It doesn't matter. Again, just like the food scraps, you want it shredded up. So you can use paper towels. I got that from the bathroom.
There we go.
You can use your egg cartons, drink trays.
So this one's newspaper. Do
Yeah.
they prefer the advanced or the Examiner?
Geez, I haven't asked them. That's
No?
a good question. I like that. They like a combination, really.
Oh,
Variety.
really?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
like variety,
exactly.
for sure.
You get different stuff from each.
So this would be moist with some soil, some eggshells. You mix it up, add your worms on, and then when you're feeding the food scraps, you bury the food in the bedding and
Okay.
make sure that it's covered so that you don't get fruit flies. This is done in the house, so you don't want fruit flies. They're not going to bug. They're not going to bug the worms. They're going to bug us. So you rotate around the tray. When the tray fills up, the beautiful part of the chalet is you start on the bottom with that tray. There's holes in the bottom of each tray, so as the tray fills up, Then you would set up the next tray, and the worms will follow the food.
So where's this going?
That one would be on the bottom.
Okay.
And then you would add your second tray on. This would be set up with the paper. Start feeding here. The worms will migrate up. They follow the food. By the time you get to the third tray, the beautiful part about the chalet made in Ontario, you turn the roof upside down,
Yep.
and the trays will stack right in the roof. It's like magic, beautiful.
Oh.
And then look at this. So this is.
And so you're just switching everything around, and you don't have to worry about getting too much dirty, and you just sweep up just a little bit.
Exactly. And then look at this. This is the worm poo. So
Worm poo. That's a lot of worm poo.
isn't that beautiful? This is nature's
yes,
finest.
I don't know if I would use beautiful so much to oh, that's heavy.
Do you like eating?
I do like.
Yeah, so if you eat and you grow vegetables, well, maybe you don't grow vegetables, but if we wouldn't have any vegetables if it wasn't for the worms. They're the plows of the soil, and so this is just nature's finest fertilizer.
Okay, so
Look at that,
I want to come down.
beautiful.
One
Yeah,
thing.
fantastic.
Now you'd think, okay, it's worm poo or it's decomposting compost, and sometimes it smells when it's outside. But this you're constantly aerating. It just
Compost should
smells
not
like
smell,
dirt.
by the way. Composting is aerobic process, meaning with oxygen.
Okay.
So people confuse the green bin and composting because you have your food scraps, which are just rotting food in a container. That's just rotting food. If your compost smells, it's just rotting food and not composting. So this is, there's still some worms here. This is the middle tray from home. So there's still a few worms here. They're still trying to make their way up to the next level. And then we'll be able to just use this. The worms, that's the beautiful part with the chalet, is the worms will migrate to the next level. So that's a red wiggler. So you can see the difference in size between the red wigglers and the European night crawlers.
Oh wait.
So there we go.
okay.
Yeah.
So they look kind of similar.
Similar, same function. We're looking for surface dwellers. So the Canadian worm, or the dew worm that comes out when it rains, they live below the frost line and come up after when it rains, and they come up at night to get their food and draw it into their burrow. They're kind of the plows of the soil. These worms are not soil dwellers.
Excellent.
They're spoiled indoor worms.
They don't search for stuff. How can someone get involved in doing this and have one of these in their house? Because this is pretty cool.
Yeah, my mission is to put worms in every house, every apartment, every school, every business, everywhere. Imagine if everybody was diverting their food scraps and paper,
Oh, this guy's
turning
freaking out.
it into nature's finest fertilizer, then we would have a much better planet. I mean, it's Earth Day tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're dealing in earthworms. Earthworms could be the mascot for Earth Day. And thank you. Yeah, so a group of worms, you know what the name is for a group of worms?
No.
A squirm.
A squirm.
A squirm
All
of
right,
worms.
so squirm. Thank you so much. We're going to squirm out of here. We're going to have more daytime coming up.
Thank you.